Hi, I'm Parker Corey, 1/3 of Injury Reserve.
What's your name?
I'm Stepper J. Groggs. That's Stepper with 1 P. Stop adding that extra P.
That's real. It's Richie with a T. We're Injury Reserve.
I'm the producer. I produce.
Like beats and stuff?
Beats.
Sorry,
Where?
Aviation. I started rapping in high school, and my friend told me, he's like, hey, my friend Parker makes beats. Eventually we kind of hooked up, and we both sucked, so it was kind of something that we like bonded on because we both had like no experience at all. We started at the bottom together. Now we're here, you know? Shout out to Drake, you know what I mean?
Now we're here.
Oh God. And I did a mixtape and Parker produced the whole thing. And then I asked Groggs to be on it because I was just looking up to him. There's no music scene in Arizona. Like there was like a Tempe house scene. It was like indie rock and stuff, and that's what we came up on, playing house shows. Parker has explained it really well, and he says like, the influence from Arizona was kind of like the lack of that existed. Because we were in Arizona, we had no boxes. So like we didn't have something like a certain sound or a certain way that we had to do any type of thing so we could do it our own way.
The lack of it playing a role was his role.
That's just like the reality of the situation. Like we're not gonna act like it's like super popping out there. A lot of our buzz happened from us playing in people's living rooms, and like, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything crazy, so yeah.
Go ahead and keep the lights on. I see you sweat, just keep the lights on. Yeah, hands up like black and white's con. Go ahead and clap your hands like you tryna fight song. Go ahead and keep the lights on. I see you sweat, just keep the lights on. Hands up like black and white's con. Go ahead and clap your hands like you tryna fight song. First off, bow down, cause this feel like Midnight Club.
Yes!
Double additional keys in the ignition.
We got Parker Corey, 1/3 of Injury Reserve trailing me. I'm coming up on Stepper J. Grog over here. He's looking real frantic right now. Yup! Easy. Pigeons Planes, we out here. Go-karting.
I already talked about it during the race, but we need to put an asterisk on this. My name was not supposed to be Go-Kart King. That's awful. It was supposed to be Go-Kart P, like skateboard P,
No,
or station wagon
that's what
P.
he chose. That's what he chose. He's trying to come up with some weak shit. He lost because
Regardless, I won.
Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. I'm pressed.
I think the best way to describe our sound would be to say that it's like constantly trying to make something that's weird but also just sounds cool. Like it's not just weird.
Like it's easy to make music that's like really familiar, and if someone hears it, they're like, oh, I've heard something like that. And it's also easy to make music that no one's ever heard before. But it's not easy to make music that no one's ever heard that's also accessible. That also, it's not like so jarring that only a small demographic can make it.
We work in a way that's very like back and forth, more so than like setting it up and then the other person like does it on top, and that's perfect.
We have the ability to, he makes a beat and we rap over it, and the song could take a whole nother turn by us realizing, okay, now this is where this song's supposed to go. With the producer having just as much of an identity on the song as the vocalist.
Yeah, very hands-on.
So North Pole is a really interesting song to me because I'm very into like how minimal it is. That song was surprisingly difficult to make.
He sampled an Instagram video, and it was an artist that is signed to a major label, and we tried to clear it, and they said, well, we're actually gonna make this into a real song, so you can't use it by any means. We had to hire someone to somewhat like recreate the sample, but then him and Parker did something completely different somewhat, and then it evolved.
So the name of the new EP is Drive It Like It's Stolen, which comes from one of the lines in one of my verses.
And then has kind of like a concept of like driving through all of the bullshit, basically, and like strapping up and just pushing through.
not one to take the high road, so I start now. Feels like I lost my way and I'm not trying to be found. And I'm not the type to go and use a GPS. Let the liquor take the kid away like CPS. I love that J line talking about CBS. I've been doing the same since so I can see BS.
Wait, this shit's scary.
Swan song, you can go and save your tissues. Not too many were there when I was dealing with my issues. Fucking up, regretting all the time that I misused. Songs start going up and I get hit with, oh, I misused. Same number since 04, so you can miss.
Obviously, we have way like bigger and better things we want to do, like just being able to have the opportunity to focus on like music and nothing but. Like that's already success right there. Like there's a lot of people that would already kill to be where we are. Even though like sometimes we feel like we aren't anywhere compared to like things that we really see, like there's people that would kill for this, you know what I mean? So it's like you gotta be really appreciative of the situation and like already feel successful, but at the same time you can't get like too contempt, you know what I mean? Because you don't wanna get too comfortable.
This is not from my head. This is stolen from one of those Frank Ocean Tumblr. He said this and it's been like the most real reason for making music that I've ever heard personally. He said he makes music for sport.
It's like a solo sport where you're outdoing yourself. And being in a group, you're competing with each other and pushing each other. So it's kind of like a track meet, you know? And it's like a relay run where you're outrunning yourself, but at the same time, like you're pushing each other. I just made that up off top, too.
Fuck with it.
Plastic confidence, I know you see through. Nothing fails faster than a reboot. Nothing feels only like a half-truth. Spiral twist.